If anyone needs translation, you could switch to the interpretation down below. You'll see like a little globe, and you could switch for the Spanish channel. So we're gonna get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second annual Minding Your Business Watts Small Business Summits, presented by Watts Rising, Displacement Avoidance Team, and the City of Los Angeles Business Source Center. My name is Carmen Cortez. I'm the Climate Education and Business Coordinator, a fellow through the California Climate Action Corp, and also part of the Watts Rising Collaboratory, and also part of the Mayor's Team of Economic Opportunity. As going into business for school, I learned so much, but I also learned there's so many opportunities here in the area. And sometimes we need to take advantage of those opportunities. Going to the different nonprofits, being in youth groups, I learned a lot. And I was in a youth group here in Watts where I learned about an entrepreneur, and it was her backstory, everything she's been through that actually led me to pursue a career and wanting to go to school for business management. And that's when I learned there's so much when it comes to business. There's business sustainability, there's finance, there's training and development, there's strategic management, there's accounting, there's so many different topics, but that's just business management. But when it comes to actually owning your own business, there's even more that goes into it. And there's a lot of businesses who start up that don't know so much information. They know what they want to do. They have a product or they have an idea or something, but they need more support or resources or workshops to attend, just like the one tonight, to provide them with more information and able to be successful. So I'm excited to be presenting this presentation with you along with the speakers for tonight. And here's our agenda for tonight. We have a lot of wonderful speakers, two also wonderful business owners here in Watts. And also we have a wonderful raffle. So Watts Rising is a collaboration of Watts residents, 400 plus organizations, the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles, and the Mayor's Office, and the Council District 15, a commitment to improving public, environmental, and economic health of the Watts community. With the 7 key components to improve environmental, promote economic development, avoid displacement, reduce greenhouse gases, improve public health, engage community, and make data informative decisions. With all of those 7, we are able to have 24 community identification infrastructure projects to build up Watts. Along with all that, we need some grants so that we're able to accomplish these goals. So in 2019, Watts Rising Collaboratory was awarded a $33.25 million Transformative Climate Communities Grant, known as TCC, the TCC, from the State of California Strategic Growth Council. With those grants and other grants, we're able to accomplish many of those 24 infrastructure projects, starting with our wonderful shopping center that opened recently, known as Freedom Plaza, where we have restaurants, a beautiful gym, a market, and many more things to come. But also, we have our car share location there, where we're going to have future electric cars for carpools. And not only that, but Watts is actually going to be the first out of Los Angeles to have an electric bus line. So that's pretty cool. And along with all that, we also have to talk about new affordable rental units. We see all this new redevelopment. So we're actually going to have 260 new affordable units for our residents here, 5 miles of new bike lane, 25 plus blocks of pedestrian improvement, because we also have to improve the streets we walk on, and 289 electric and fishing homes and 54 new solar roofs. Both of them are able to help our residents lower their electric bill. And to make sure that we're becoming more green here in the area, our plan is to plant 3,000 new trees. So far, we have planted 1,000, 4+ acres of community gardens soon to come, and 2 new parks that are soon going to be built, and the help of our residents that are actually inputting their ideas from the littlest touches from the actual art of the sidewalks. We have also been able to help the landfills with the food by having 300 tons of food waste be reclaimed for new fruits and vegetables that are being passed out to our residents for free. And lastly, 1 mile of new cultural trail that will showcase the history of Watts by culture and past leaderships. Along with all those wonderful projects, we also have a displacement avoidance plan. And my team, the Displacement Avoidance Working Group, is informing and helping our residents different types of resources. We want to increase economic sustainability through skill training.
Oh, why are we refunding her?
Find jobs and opportunities in green sectors. Making sure that we are providing workshops so our residents are able to access to afford housing and increase wealth by purchasing homes. And also with past workshops and events in the past, we have informed our residents with rental assistance programs, foreclosure, and prevention information. This is one of our upcoming deadlines. It's in our website, and also you can find it throughout all our social medias. And you probably got an email if you're on our email list. So the rental units available in Oak Grove, Jordan Downs. Right now, they're taking applications till July 1st. So make sure you apply or share this information with anyone trying to be able to go into these new apartments. Someone on my team will leave the link down below if you want to apply. The Displacement Avoidance Working Group is also helping Watts small businesses be successful and thrive. We're preparing Watts businesses for subtracting opportunities with Watts Rising, referring them to our Business Source Center and Macedonia CDC Business Program. And you'll actually hear from them, both of those speakers, in a little bit, and they'll share more information. But they're referring them by helping you go into business workshops, one-on-one business counseling, and also we have been promoting in the past couple of months COVID resources like our small business rental assistant program. And also we're providing workshops to access to capital and future to come workshops on business microloans. And the website is down below if you want to check it out. You can also just go to whatsrising.org and you'll see the anti-displacement bar and everything is on there as well. We also have a Watts Small Business Directory that we want to keep promoting. We want to add your business to our directory for opportunities to share leads, increase visibility, and to grow connections. You're here in this workshop to know resources, to get some guidance, but we also want to have future workshops and events where you're able to communicate with one another because we want to support you, but also let's support each other in the community. Let's build each other. Let's go to each other's business. Let's purchase items from each other so that we could keep growing. And someone from my team would also lead that down below. And next, I want to introduce my code horse that she helped me actually plan this event, and she's amazing, Amanda Enriquez. She's part of the Business Source Center, and I'm gonna pass it on to her.
And let's give Carmen a round of applause for the great introduction and kickoff. Some chat love and some emoji love.
I'm on mute. It's after hours, okay? So as I was saying, it's good to see a lot of you guys. Carmen is amazing. She's a rising star. And I can't wait to see what she blossoms into, just with the knowledge and the experience she's getting here and then mixed out with school, and she's gonna be a bomb. And so I just want to, again, say hello to everyone. A lot of you I haven't seen in a while, even just your names. So it's good to share the Zoom room with you all. As you might know or might not, my name is Amanda Enriquez. I am the site manager for the Harbor Business Source Center. I am super excited that Watts is actually getting its own location. And so Watts has its own Business Source Center. Right now they're co-locating at WLCAC in the Work Source Center, but they're planning an amazing opening for their site. It will be at the train center, at the train station. I think it's going to open sometime in August, but until then, and going for, you know, whatever, we're all a family Business Source Center. So, you know, we want to just do the work and make sure that businesses get serviced. So I'm so excited for today. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff, but I just want to give you some information about the Business Source Center as a whole. Again, like I said, Watts just got its own location. So now there's 10, there used to be 9, and they're in all different cities, West Valley, North Valley, South Valley, Hollywood has its own location. And we are a resource for small businesses and entrepreneurs. The way that I like to explain it is, you know, along the path to prosperity for whatever that business, you know, it looks like for that business. We help with licenses, permits, understanding access to capital, which I can't wait to hear Alex's presentation. I'm going to be taking notes, so I hope you guys are as well. And, you know, we help with, like I said, a laundry list of different services. I like to think of us as a conduit, right? Like whatever resources that we don't have in-house, or, you know, maybe I don't know how to do, I'm going to refer you to maybe another Business Source Center that does have an expert, or, you know, some other resource. One of my mantras is your network is your net worth. So always expand your network, because you never know what connections that you're going to get just from the people that you know. And so I'm always networking and making connections and trying to collaborate. And so that's what the Business Source Center is about. I'm super excited to hear about all of the entrepreneurs that are coming up. I am, and I always say, I know, like the mute threw me off, but I am a self-proclaimed business nerd. It's on my LinkedIn profile, so it has to be true. And so I just can't wait to hear all the stories. And then I'm going to come back in a little bit and kind of go through some basics about starting a business, and I'm keeping it simple. We're talking about who, what, when, where, why, how. We all know that, right? We learned that in 4th, 5th grade. So we're going to break it down like that, and then kind of really talk about more about the different formations, the difference between an LLC and a sole proprietorship and a corp and an S corp and all those things. And then, I'll be here for questions, and yeah, so I think that's about it for me. I'm gonna pass it over to Cartasia. Listen, when I talk about entrepreneurs, this lady has it in her blood. It is running through her, okay? I am so proud. Like other cities, I actually was, kind of sad that, I'm still keeping my hand in Watts, but that we are just now the harbor, because I love, y'all, there is so much greatness that comes out of Watts, just the different ideas, the different businesses, each person, like logos, names, there's, I think, over 200 different nonprofits just in Watts, right? Y'all want to give back to people, okay? And share your creativity. And so now I will pass it over to Cartasia and let her take it from there.
Hello, everyone. As a lot of you may know, I'm Cartasia Perkins, lifelong Watts resident and Watts Rising Housing Assets and Anti-Displacement Coordinator. It is my pleasure to be here tonight for the 2nd annual. I was a part of the 1st annual, so it's a blessing to be a part of the 2nd annual Small Business Summit, being that I am an entrepreneur of Watts. It is my pleasure also to introduce to you one of our small business owners from Watts. She has been doing this for a long time now. So everyone, please welcome Ms. Jasmine Corona Ross to here. She is the owner of Jazzy's Boutique. So let me give you a little background about Ms. Corona Ross. Jasmine of Jazzy's Boutique has been a Watts resident since she was 8 years old. She is the proud owner of a line of beautiful and unique hair bows. Jasmine got her start at an early age when she began helping her mother sell candy and shoes out of their home. And I was an avid customer. She started her own entrepreneurial duties in 2015 with Jazzy's Boutique. Jazzy Boutique provides fun and quality items that put a little jazziness in your hair for those who wear her hair bows. Right there's a few pictures of just a small amount a small glimpse of the bows that she has. She has a wide variety of hair bows. Like I said, to put a little jazziness into it. So yeah, check her out, and hopefully you'll be hearing a lot more from Jazzy's Boutique as she continues to grow and flourish, especially with these opportunities that we will be speaking about, and how, building her business structure to get her out there so that she could be not only known in Watts, but known throughout California and beyond. All right, Jazzy, you ready?
Yes, hello. Thank you for the introduction. How are you guys today?
Doing well.
That's good. But yeah, the bows. Oh, I'm sorry, I got shy. Okay, so I do handmade bows. Every bow is unique. Not every, even if I try to duplicate the bow, it's not gonna always be the same. Yeah. And then one other thing about Jesse's Boutique, it has affordable prices. So if you see them somewhere else, it can be like $5 or $10. With me, the max is $5 because I like to help single moms.
That's right. That's right, Jazzy. So what inspired you to start this? I know that you got the inspiration from your mother, but what deep inside of you inspired you to do this? So maybe you can give a little bit of inspiration to others.
Being honest, one of the things that inspired me to start Jesse's Boutique was one second. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that inspired me was my niece, LaRaja.
Oh,
That's one of the things that inspired me. And then also me wanting a girl to have a daughter, but God said no. So I have a son, but it's okay because I still get to see my bows in other little girls.
that's excellent. That's excellent.
Yes.
Is there any other thing you'd like to share about us, about your small business endeavors?
Mm, uh,
Where can we find Jazzy's Boutique? What is your Instagram?
Jesse's Boutique 1.
And that is your Instagram, Jazzy's Boutique 1?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. How did you learn?
Also,
That was a great question, Amanda. How did you learn?
how did I learn to do bows?
Yes.
One of the things that also inspired me was when I was younger, I wanted stuff and my mom couldn't afford it because she was a single mom back then. So another thing how I learned to make bows, it was just like wanting to see little girls with bows, and it was just it was first like a hobby, but then it became little by little an idea of a small business, and that's how I started doing the bows.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so
On
much, Jazz.
YouTube, or did you? Sorry, I listen. I told you I'm a business nerd. Did you learn on YouTube, or did you try it when you were little? So that, because you mentioned that you couldn't always afford things that you wanted. So did you learn from then, like making your own bows, and then eventually people were asking you like, "Hey, can I buy that?" Or
I did learn how to make some in YouTube. And then the other ones I make them myself. Like there's times that I just sit down and I just zoom everything out, and then that's when I start creating, like the one with like the blue one with the bunnies and the flower. Everything is made out of scratch. So I cut the flower, I add the pearls, I do everything, every little detail. My biggest challenge is that when I try to promote myself, because of my prices, there's other people trying to get my name, but they have higher prices than me.
Okay.
Yeah. So my biggest challenge is getting customers.
Okay. Well, maybe tonight you can learn a little something about the business structure and stuff, and that'll help you gain valuable information so that you can strengthen your customer base and be able to market yourself to get to get out there a little bit more. But there's a lot of strong people on here that can help you get out there. So just know that we are a community that are willing to help each other thrive, like I said, and get to where we're trying to reach those goals that we are trying to reach. So welcome to the Watts Rising team, and thank you so much for sharing your creativity with us and your business model ideas. So thank you, Jazzy of Jasmine's Boutique.
You're welcome.
Next, we have the Starting a Business 101 and Selecting a Business Structure featuring Amanda Enriquez. Back to you, Amanda.
thank you, Cartasia. So I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, just and understanding time and everything. And I'll put all my information in the chat. If there's something that you want to go back over, actually, I'll also put the link to the presentation in the chat and along with my information. So that way, if you have, you can look over it. And then if you have questions, particular questions, you know, you can just hit me up, however, whatever works best for you. So again, my name is Amanda Enriquez. I am going to go through kind of a little startup guide. Like I said, I'm going to keep it really simple. We're going to talk about who, what, when, where, why. Within that, we'll talk about business structures. I'll stop and spend a little bit of time there. So next slide. Again, we're keeping it simple, okay? So the who, we're going to talk about you, right? The founder. And then kind of what Jazzy was talking about, your target, right? Your target market. Then the what is your competitive edge? What makes you different, you know? When we're talking about rollout schedules, you know, I think in life we have to have a plan, and that's what the when is, right? A plan in business. When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? You know, breaking things up, and it makes it feel not so big and heavy when you kind of break it up into smaller pieces. Logistics, where will your customers find you? Why? We're going to talk about, should you do it? Is it a hobby or is it a hustle? You know, or could you really make money from it? You know, and then we're talking about how a little bit, just finances and formation. I'm not gonna spend too much time on finances because I know Alex will go over a lot of that stuff. And then we'll talk about formation. So what's the difference? And then quickly, I'll just talk about a business plan and why it's important. Next slide. So I always like to start with a quote. And if you have not already heard of this man, please do a little bit, put him in your Google search. Farrah Gray, he says, build your own dreams or someone else will hire you to build theirs. Farrah Gray, he's a businessman, investor, and author. He wrote the book Billionaire. You know, if you are an entrepreneur coming up, I suggest that you put that on your read list or your Audible playlist. Because, you know, he talks about starting business when he was 6 years old. And I know a lot of you on this call have that entrepreneurial blood in you, that spirit that no matter what, you're gonna make it. So he's a really great mentor, even if it's by way of a book. Next slide. So who, right? Who are you, the founder? So a lot of times I say, you know, is entrepreneurship, not always is entrepreneurship right for you, but are you right for entrepreneurship? So these are some of the talents or characteristics that make entrepreneurs successful. Now, entrepreneurs are a little different than business people, right? Like a businessman maybe buys a franchise, or, you know, they do something very traditional. An entrepreneur takes raw materials and creates something new with them, even if it's just, you know, different businesses, different business models. So that takes creativity, it takes innovation, right? That we heard that with Jazzy. She said sometimes she zones everything out and just gets creative, gets in her creative bag. And that's, you know, what an entrepreneur needs to have. The two that are highlighted, I'm really gonna focus on because persistence and flexibility. I think we all learned in 2020, 2021, that we need to be flexible, right? Your business, you may think, oh, I'm on a main street and everybody's gonna walk in and walk past, but no, sometimes that street might be empty, you know? So you have to think about, how else am I gonna sell my products? How else are my customers gonna get to me? And persistence, you're going to be told no a whole bunch more than you're going to be told yes. So you have to get used to that, I think, in life in general, but, you know, especially in business. Not everybody's going to love your idea. Not everybody's going to love your brand. Not everybody's going to love the way that you do it, your motto, your visions, your values, whatever. And so you're going to have the persistence to keep going, rather than just, you know, kind of let it go. Next slide. So I kind of touched on this a little bit before, but I think this is really interesting, because a lot of us, Now we know about, like, you know, Earn Your Leisure and the Wall Street Trapper and, you know, all these people. So I think, like, just looking at this graph, a business person, like I said, they kind of buy something and sell it, you know, buy it low, sell it high kind of thing. You know, I'm buying an apple at $1, and so I'm selling it at $2, right? And an entrepreneur, like I said, takes a raw material and creates something new. So they may buy the apples at $1, but they only need one to make, you know, a carton of apple juice that they can sell for $5. An infopreneur, you know, which is really interesting to me. I told y'all I'm a nerd, so I'll like kind of nerd out on this word a little bit. But basically they sell the information, right? They take the apple and tell people how to create the juice and sell that for you know, a profit. So I just wanted to add this in because there's multiple different ways to own businesses, right? You can be a business person, you can be an infopreneur, you can be an entrepreneur. Okay, yes, that is you, Miss Evans, all right? So I would love to hear about, and I feel like I've seen you, we've talked before, but I would love to hear about your story. So next slide. So when we're talking about who also, because we can have a product, but if there's nobody there to sell it, then we have a hobby. And so this graph is not really important in terms of like the numbers that are on it, but I really want you to understand your target consumer, your target customer. Because like it says right there, no small business can afford to market to everyone. So while you may think, you know, everybody wants my cupcakes, nobody could say no to my cupcakes. Well, yeah, there are some people that are going to say no to your cupcakes, right? And so really honing in and understanding, hey, if I open this bakery in this part of town, am I going to be able to survive? Are there enough people of the age that attend, you know, go to bakeries? Are there the right genders, right? Because if you're in an old people's neighborhood with a lot of older people, they may not walk around and go to bakeries, right? They may not need cupcakes because they have other, you know, they have to eat healthy or whatever, you know. Could be in an area where people just don't have sweets. They may be all vegan, right? And you're selling regular cupcakes. Well, you know, and so it's really important to understand your target consumer. I always say, you know, light a candle, you know, say a prayer to those that are not in your target, but you want to focus on your target because you only, you know, big companies like Coca-Cola and Nike can afford to market to everyone. Next slide. When you're a small business, especially a small business from, you know, and you're looking a small business of color, you know, I'll say a woman-owned small business, whatever it is, you're in that, you know, demographic. It's really important to understand what sets you apart. So Jazzy, I would say, you know, you should really sit down and figure out, look, like you said, when we first started, everything's different. You will never have the same two bows, right? I'm going to lead with that as my competitive edge, right? Because you may be able to go on Amazon and buy a bow or buy this, but you may go to the party and 2 other people got it on, right? Like you purchase from me, you know that that's unique, you know, it's a one-off, like that is your competitive edge, right? So learn what that is for you. And that way you can understand that, and then you know how to, you know, fight against your competitors. What are competitors? Every business owner should know at least 2 competitors. Those are people that are in the same market selling the same items as you, and 1 alternative. They may not make the same things, but they can it's a substitute, right? And so understanding what sets you different apart from those your competitors is your competitive edge. That's what you lean on when you're marketing. Next slide. So we talked about when, right? Strategic timing. I have the honor to work with one of my clients. Her name is Tanisha. She has a wellness line. She's actually one of our guest speakers on networking events that we used to put on. And when she came to me, she had all these different things and she wanted to, I just don't know about this and this and this and labels and these, and there's so many different things. She makes teas first and foremost, we started with, right? Her end goal is to open a whole wellness center, but we said, okay, you want to start business now, right? Let's break it down. Let's figure out how to, let's put it into segments, right? Let's prepare. Let's first start. Okay, what is everything that you need? Do you have all your licenses? Do you have all everything? You have your labels. We go through everything that's necessary. And we start that in the preparing. Then we launch, right? So then she actually started selling her products. So when you're selling your products, you're getting feedback, right? Like, oh, how's the packaging? Are people looking at your labels? Are they catching people's eye, right? Do they like the flavor? Those kind of things. Once you launch, you're able to get all that data, and then you do the next step, you refine, right? If you're a childcare center and you're taking paper applications and your line is out the door and people are leaving and going to the next childcare center because they got to be, they have to go to work. And your check-in times is way too long. I don't have time to stand in a line. You may then think about, okay, well, let's figure out something different. Let's do breakout times. Okay, kids this age go at this time, or maybe you do something digitally, right? You refine, because when you launched, you realize that some part of it didn't work. For Tanisha, she figured out her boxes, right? They were too heavy, so they made her shipping costs higher. So she, got new boxes that were lighter. And so then what was next? Improve, right? That's the next thing. And then once you improve, like you see, like that happy face that we see on all our Amazon boxes, you go right back to preparing, because what's next? What's the next stage? What's the next part? What's the next step? Then you keep going around in circles. That's why it's called a business cycle, right? Because if you keep going around it. Next slide. I too, Ivory, am drinking hot tea. However, I'm sitting under a fan. So I am like, so the next slide, we're going to talk about where, right? Where do your customers find you? And I am going to premise this with, I feel like you should be able to find all three, except for maybe wholesale, right? There should be somewhere that you're in person. It does not have to be a brick and mortar, what we call an actual front storefront. That's a fancy name for it, a brick and mortar location, and online. And online means you have a website and you also have social media, because you want your customer to find you in all different ways. And so online, basically, like we said, you should always have your own website, even if it's through like a third party kind of thing, like a Square or, something like that. But you should always have your own website that you direct your customers to through your social media, because we all seen with the Facebook and Instagram Armageddon where they were down for like a day. And I know a couple of, multiple businesses that were not able to conduct business because all of their customers' information was on their Facebook, through their Facebook. They were, personal trainers, and they made appointments and things through their Facebooks, So you should always have your own platform. And then in person, right? If you don't, like I said, if you don't have a brick and mortar location, do pop-ups. Do collaborations with other companies that you can, your products are visible. Visibility is really, really important. Okay. And send your products to other people, wear them. People need to see your stuff. And then wholesale, right? If you have a product that you can actually wholesale to. I know Miss Lottie is on Zoom, I hope. And, I know she is scaling her business and understanding how to wholesale, right? How do I sell my products to another business, to a grocery store, to a bookstore, Cartasia, and that way they sell my stuff for me, right? Like I'm selling to you, you selling it for me. So that's kind of the way that wholesale works. So if you have, other businesses, like for instance, if we're taking Tanisha, right? She can go to different coffee shops and wholesale her teas to these coffee shops. And then she's selling teas without having to do the work, having to package things. So that's always an option. Next slide. So the quintessential question is why should you do it, right? We all have things that drive us. We all have hobbies. We all have things that we do for fun. But you know, is that really going to translate into a business, right? If I'm, you know, do people need it? Do people want it, right? Like, are people, you know, going to buy it? I always think about these things when people tell me that they want to start clothing lines. That's really important, right? Because nobody needs clothes right now. So you have to really understand your competitive edge if you're starting a clothing line. What makes you different? Because otherwise, you're just going to be selling to your friends and your family because they can go buy clothes at Ross. They can go to the Goodwill. They can go to the thrift store. There's not a need for it, right? So you want to think about, if you're just jumping into business, is there a need for the product that you're using or that you're trying to sell? Finances, right? Do you have the capital? We're going to hear about capital in a little bit, but do you have the money to do it? Does it make sense? Sometimes if you don't have the money to do it, you save and you plan, right? You work on your business plan, you get your licenses, you learn, you go to YouTube University or a real university if you need to, right? Like you go to beauty school if you're trying to open a, you know, or cosmetology school, should I say, if you're trying to open a beauty shop, whatever it is, right? But you need to make sure that you have the finances. I always suggest people take I don't know, whatever it is, a spreadsheet, a pen and a paper, and write down everything that you would need and how much it costs. Google it, look it on, you know, different price, different ways. And that number might scare you, but at least you know, right? You should always know how much it's going to cost in order for you to start. Time. Like, do you have the time? Okay, because I'd be trying to find extra hours in the day. I wouldn't even know when or where or how I would be able to fit in, you know, owning my own business, because it does take time. It's all day 24/8, you know, like there's no breaks. I'm sure a lot of you on the call already understand that, right? Like you could be thinking you're on vacation and no, your client called, you know. It's not only a 9 to 5. You're no longer trading your hours or your time for your paycheck, right? You're hustling for that paycheck. So do you really have the time? You got kids, you got somebody to take care of them, because you can't be, you know, you got to figure it out, and take that into consideration. And if you have the time, the finances, and you feel like there's a need for your product, do you have the dedication? Will you be able to be told no 137,000 times? Because you will, right? Are you persistent? Are you consistent?